Joined here at the Thornbury Surfacing Stadium with Chippenham Town manager Mike Cook. Mike, a 1-1 draw against Hampton and Richmond today. It almost feels like a complete deja vu and a carbon copy of the Eastbourne game last time out.
Yeah, I think we've got to look at it as 4 points dropped. I think over the two games. I think we've done enough first half. We're playing some good football. A few more chances in the first half. We've got to go 2-0 up. When you go into the for the half-time team talk, and then I just thought we went a little bit too direct. There was no need to do that second half, especially against their sort of 3 or 4 big lunts that they've got. All they're going to do is they win it and kick it, and they come for a draw, which is surprising, but that's what they did do. And everything that goes on with all our bits and bobs that we do in training, you'd expect us just to create a little bit more second half, which we didn't do.
Yeah, I know it's a real footballing cliche, Mike, but a real game of two halves. Obviously the first 45 minutes we go in 1-0 up. It looked as if anyone who was out there playing the football today, it was definitely us. We were knocking the ball around well and rightly went in at the break 1-0 up, and it was young Harrison Minturn who's done everything for us so far but score a goal that notched and got on the score sheet today.
Yeah, and we knew that they conceded a few goals from set pieces this year as well, so that's where we targeted them as well. We knew that Minnow was getting in on the far post. He could have had a couple of chances actually second half from the corners as well, a couple of corners at the end and a free kick. So we knew where they were weak, but we just didn't capitalise on that a little bit. We haven't quite got that, that number 9 that can get up there and head a lot of balls for us. And if you're building attacks or finishing attacks off, we haven't quite got that player at the moment at the club.
No, and obviously moving into the second half, again, it was a real carbon copy of the game against Eastbourne. Really, we looked almost like we were in control, and then sort of on a turning point, they started to throw a few things forward, and it was a little ball that broke down there. And credit to the lad, it was a great finish from Donaldson to put them 1-1.
Yeah. I think it's the left back, and I think he's left-footed, isn't he? So he's a great shot with his right foot. There's probably the only thing I thought. Will played quite well today because they had a couple of chances as well, which you'd expect over 90 minutes. And the team that he's got there, they're not a bad team. Probably where they are now is probably a bit disappointing for them. With the club of their magnitude, because they, the players that they've got. When we played them early in the season, they looked a good team, and one that you thought probably be trouble in that sort of top 7. So it's not the end of the world, but you just think when you get yourself into those positions, we just got to be a bit more ruthless, and then we get the 6 points over 2 weeks, which is probably what we deserved. But if you don't put the ball in the onion bag, then you're always likely to have that happen to you, ain't you?
Yeah, unfortunately it is, as we've always said here, a game of fine margins, wherein late goals and points dropped will somehow come back to bite us. And in the last couple of weeks, like you say, probably points dropped more than points gained, particularly here against Eastbourne and Hampton, but obviously defeat as well at Welling. It's not been a bad month really by any standards. 2 out of 3 results. However, 2 points from this month so far. It's kind of where the difference making looks like it might be. I think we've fallen 10th today, I think. So we're still in touch, but I think at the start of the season, all of us in our conversations that we had, and certainly yourself as your own goals, the aim was to be in and around it when push come to shove, and we're very much still there.
Yeah, we're still in and around it. Like I said, it's not all doom and gloom, but we need a couple of results to fall our way now, which if you take those 4 points from the last 2 weeks, then you're still in control of your own destiny a little bit. So we still got, I think it's 11 games to go. And like I said before, it's just that we've got a tough run in at the back end of this season, and you'd want to pick some points up now. Really, that's what we wanted to do. That's what the plan was and the aim, and that's not quite worked out so far. But we'll go again next week.
And we've had questions all season long about Swindon Town loanees. Obviously Ricky and Harry have now left and gone back to Swindon and are making really prominent steps in their careers and getting into the first team. Ricky putting 2 goals past Walsall the other day and having a really, really good debut for Swindon. We've now sort of gone back to them again, and for the rest of the year we've picked up Mo Dabre, possibly a player that a lot of people may not have known quite a lot about coming into the club, but Yeah, he looked very lively today, Mo, didn't he? Especially when he got the ball on the floor and started running at defences, looked like he could scare a few.
Yeah, I thought he had a good debut as well. He's quite direct. He was one of the lads that we watched all the way back in sort of September down at Plymouth, and he did well that night as well. So if he can get with us, get his minutes, we didn't want to play him the full 90 today because it's his first 90 for a while, so we didn't want any injuries from him. And at the moment we've got him until the end of the season, so we'll be making good use of that. If we can get in a centre forward as well, that'll be great for us. If we could just get somebody up there just to knock that ball in, get us 2-0 up and 3-0 up, then it's a lot easier to watch the second half, last 10 minutes then, isn't it?
Certainly is. And we now go on the road again next week. We've found this season that the road have been a happy hunting ground for us, really, with picking up good results and very, very hard to beat away from home. We're coming up against a side that on paper, you think Chippenham are probably going to stroll to a nice easy victory looking at the tables, but as well from your time in football, Mike, it's never easy when you're down the bottom looking and plucking for points, that you're always going to be fighting and scrapping all the way. And next we take the lads to Braintree. It's going to be a very, very different game to the one we've seen today.
Yeah, and they've done really well. I don't think they'd lost in 8 games up till today. I don't know how they got on today, but
I think they did lose 1-0.
Yeah, so that'll be probably their first loss in a bit of a while. So they're going to bank up. They're going to get 11 behind the ball. It's going to be tough. And when they came up here, they equalised, I think, in the 94th minute as well, and it was a great strike by Pars, if I remember rightly, on that day. But we've just got to think, how we get around them, how we get through them, how we get over them. We'll be doing that again in training, and we've been doing that last week as well, because today we thought they were going to come out and play a little bit more football, and as it proved, they left us a few little gaps in their lines and everything, which we exploited first half. So that's what it was disappointing not to do that second half, really.
Well, Mike, it's getting a bit cold out here, mate, so we'll let you crack on with your celebrations after the game and get back to the drawing board with the boys. Today it's an unfortunate 1-1 draw, but it's another point on the board, and I suppose for the comedy value, and I'm sure you'll see the funny side to this. Congratulations, Mike. You're mathematically safe in the National League South for another year. You can no longer go down. National League South football will be at Chippenham Town next year.
Yeah, at least that's something to celebrate, yeah. Thanks,
Perfect.
Simon.
All the best, Mike. See you on Saturday.